A former member of the New York Jets wants to reunite with the team, but should we want him? Boy Green Daily starts now.
I'm gonna lose my gosh darn bananas. Boy Green Daily starts now. Zoinks!
Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. Let's go!
Put your seatbelts on. Get ready for the ride. We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Paul Esden Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you get your podcast. And Terrence Hill gives the right message here. Be sure to hit the like button. That is the free way to contribute to today's show. Like the video, hit subscribe, baby. Appreciate all the gosh darn support. And look at this. Before the show even started, Mother effing Chew gifting a Boy Green Coffee Club membership, baby. You love to see it. That membership went to Gucci Finesse. Oh, okay. Great name. Gucci Finesse, you are now a member to the Boy Green Coffee Club. And MFC, you just got yourself another raffle ticket to our giveaway that's happening this month. Let's throw that up on the big board real quick. New York Jets patched out pullover hoodie, a Super Bowl prize pack with multiple unique items from past Super Bowls, plus a custom laser engraving Jets Boy Green package. MFC, you now have, if I have this correct on my sheet, yes, 10 raffle tickets for this lovely contest. MFC, thanks for the support, buddy. Appreciate you. There we go. Let's ride, and let's get it going. Appreciate you guys joining us. And let's roll. Yeah, Jack's like 11 likes. Come on, man. We need more than that. Damn straight. Let's go. Get the like train rolling, baby. Appreciate you. So, yes, a former member of the New York Jets is interested in a reunion. But the question is, should we be interested in that reunion as well? Let's go to the footage. Chosen Anderson, the artist formerly known as Robbie Anderson. He has made his plea. He is a free agent. And he noticed the Jets need some wide receiver help. Let's go to the tail of the tape. CBS Sports HQ. Hit it.
Before we move on, just really quickly, I know you're talking to a lot of teams. Are there any teams that, you think you'd be a great fit for that have been catching your eye? Anything like that?
I'm open to every team. I don't want to, make it seem like I'm too good for any team. I'm just hoping for a great opportunity. But, the Jets would mean a lot. My career started there. And, the culture that I know that they're building and everything, not to single any team out, but that would be special. It would be nostalgic.
No, Rob.
Okay, there you go, Robbie. Appreciate you. I'll say this, by the way, quick shout out for the capturing of that video was Dylan, a.k.a. at NYJets fans only. Appreciate him grabbing that. That's how I saw it on social media. Now, it's been an interesting road for one Robbie Anderson, who came into the league as Robbie Anderson, R-O-B-B-Y Anderson, and then he changed his name to R-O-B-B-I-E Anderson, Robbie, and then he became Robbie Chosen, and then he became Chosen Anderson. So it's been a wild road for the attorney responsible for changing his name 1,000 times, but also for his NFL journey as well. And I'll just say real quick on Chosen, what a great story Chosen was. It was back in 2016, an undrafted free agent out of Temple, ends up not only making the roster, but carving out a role. And during his 4 years with the team, he caught 207 receptions for 3,000 yards and 20 touchdowns. And I'll tell you this, I got to be there for one of my favorite Chosen Anderson touchdowns of all time. Sam Darnold had mononucleosis. What a season that was. And me and my dad had already predetermined that we were going to go to the Jets-Cowboys game. That was week 5 or week 6 of that season. And so I'm there with, Jets-Cowboys fans. Sam Darnold does return. That's his game that he returns. I'm like, oh, thank goodness. Good Lord. That's excellent that he ended up, returning. And there was a play by the goal line. The Jets were on like the 5 or 6 yard line. And I was sitting with a bunch of Cowboys fans. That's how, how it was in the stadium. And I turned to my dad and his Cowboys buddies that are all there. I'm like, this is about to be a touchdown. They're like, huh? I'm like, this is going to be a touchdown. I just had a gut feeling. and I see Sam Darnold take the snap, goes under center, takes the snap, and he sort of dips his shoulders. I'm like, oh my God, this is a play action. Oh my God, he's going to take a shot. So I like saw it before it happened. So he dips his shoulders and then play action and then rips one to Robbie Anderson. And I think it went like 94 yards to the house. Unbelievable. Crazy play. And it was insane. So I'll never forget that moment. But I think that telling that wonderful chosen Robbie whatever story also, I think, tells us where we are right now. And that is the chosen Anderson that I saw score that 90-plus yard touchdown, and the chosen Anderson that sits before us is not the same guy. You know, again, Robbie spends 4 years here. He spends 4 years here with the New York Jets. And then the Jets have this whole thing about, do we let him test free agency? Do we sign him? Joe Douglas lets him test the market, and then we never see him again because he goes over to the Carolina Panthers, ends up signing a couple big money deals, and he goes to the Cardinals, and he goes to the Dolphins, and he goes to 49ers, and then ends up on the Dolphins again. And he's just been sort of bouncing around the league. In his 9 years in the NFL, he's appeared in 122 games, and he's made 86 starts. During that time with the other teams, he has an additional 173 catches for 2,000 yards and 10 touchdowns. But if we're being honest, it's 2025. Over the last 3 years, Chosen has been exclusively a part-time role player. He's 31. He's going to be 32 before the start of the 2025 season. If the Jets view him as some sort of savior, this is sad, and it's not going to work. But if you sign him to be a role guy, to be one of the other random receivers in the room, you can sell me on it. I'm going a little higher register, but, Aaron Glenn says he wants speed on this team, and we lack that elite speed. Chosen at his pro day way back in the day ran a 4.36 40. Aaron Glenn at the NFL Combine, when asked about speed, said, quote, this is from my story, too, in the article down below, I think speed puts fear in a defense, especially at certain positions, and it allows everybody else underneath to be able to work and to be able to make plays. So an occasional deep shot guy, which is what I believe Robbie is at this stage of his career, I think he'd be an interesting guy. Now, the other parts, okay. Chosen's older. He's an older guy, so you have to factor that piece of the puzzle in. And the drama. Chosen's been in a few places, been kicked off teams, and all kinds of weirdness has gone on. And I don't know what all that entailed, but there was a lot of weird happening there with one Chosen Anderson. The Jets and this new regime would have to be cool with that. So I'm all for a good reunion, baby. Sure, why not? We need deep threats, and he can be an occasional deep threat. He could be your poor man's Mike Wallace back in the day with Pittsburgh. And that'd be interesting. And there you go. Mother, MFC says, Mother effing Chosen. There you go. Hey, now. And here we are. So he wants to come back on the team. It sounds like, seeing the comment section, the feeling is not mutual. It's not mutual for Robbie of doing this. Mitch Staff says, I'll go to some comments. Why would you stifle the young guy's growth for a guy who doesn't move the needle? Who are the young guys that we are stifling? That's what I would like to know. I don't think we have. I mean, Tyler Johnson. Okay, let's see what the kid has. Malachi Corley, we don't know what he has. Xavier Gibson, I don't think he's making the roster. And obviously have Garrett. I think if Robbie Chosen, again, whatever his name is now, he has 100 names. If he signed with a team, it'd be minimal reps. It's not like he's going to, I hope not, he's not a key cog of the offense. That's what I would say. As James Fowl says, make sure you guys hit the friggin' like button. And Robert Bianchi, I see Robert Bianchi has a request. If Chosen Anderson returns to the team, he has to change the name back to Anderson so they don't have to get a new jersey. Although the jerseys have changed too, I guess. But that's a fair request, Robert. That's a fair request. I'll see if we can put that in. And look at this. We got a super chat coming in. Every time we get a YouTube super chat, we hear from my beautiful daughter, Zariah Luna.
Wow.
Anderson over the Hackett Truther, Alan Lazard every day, J-Boy says. Unfortunately, again, at this stage of his career, if the Jets added, if they added Robbie, I don't think that would throw off the scent of one Alan Lazard. Unfortunately, they would need a more significant move for that to be the case. 19 raffle tickets, by the way, for you, J-Boy. Appreciate you. 19 raffle tickets with your previous super chat combinations altogether. I appreciate it. Yeah, let me make this clear. I don't love that Alan Lazard is on this team, and currently he is slated to be a significant piece, relatively speaking, of this offense. I don't love that at all. Again, he led the league in drop percentage last year. He was a penalty monster, and there was a lot left to be desired. Sure, he scored a couple of touchdowns last year with his boy Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Rodgers isn't here anymore. But at this current moment, until they get a significant addition to wide receiver room, Alan Lazard is here to stay, unfortunately. But yeah, I love Robbie over Lazard. If that's the choice, there you go. Maybe that'll spin some. Matthias says there's no way he's being a Jet again. Okay, there you go. Maybe not. Maybe it won't happen. Maybe it won't come to fruition. Alan wants one of the Cyclone boys. Take one of those damn Cyclones with pick 42 and call it a day. Wouldn't that be something if you get one of those boys? Jaden Higgins. Who's the other one? Yeah, let me see all the Iowa State wide receivers in this class. Something Knoll. He's my brain's having a meltdown here. Yeah, here we go. Jaden Higgins. Yeah, he's one of them, and then that's whoever. Jalen Knoll, I believe, is the other one's name. That'd be nice. I like that. And pick 42 could be a possibility. There you go. Shout out to Robert. Thank you for watching on Heavy on Jets. Off to work. Have a great day, everyone. Go Jets. Damn straight. Here we go. Jalen Knoll. Thank you. Thank you, Ricky. That's what I thought it was. But my brain was having a bloop there. Amit says Lazard can block. Well, he'll be doing a lot of that, I hope. And Ricky, instead of Iowa State boys, wants a Texas boy. Matthew Golden, Isaiah Bond. Speed. Hey. There's a lot of compelling guys in this draft that could make sense. Halfmo63 says Higgins is smooth. Knoll catches everything. Yeah, there you go. Horns down, baby. There you go. Phil said, I'd rather have Lazard. Robbie's not a high character guy and is a head case. Oh, yeah, he sucks. Well, Lazard's sort of a head case, too, but I get what you're saying. There's a lot of extracurricular activity, and that's a lot of extracurricular activity. I think we've learned this lesson in National Football League history. When you have a player that's incredibly talented, the leash is longer. When you have a player who isn't as talented or older or injury prone, whatever it is, your leash for all the BS you'll handle is much shorter. So that's part of the equation. Jack says Lazard gave up when AR went down. He 100% gave up. He rolled over like a dead fish, he threw a temper tantrum like a 5-year-old. And it was pathetic. You're getting paid $44 million. In the contract, it didn't say $44 million only if you play with Aaron Rodgers. Come on, man. So that still bothers me. But again, there's a real path, unfortunately, that he's going to be on this team next year. Unless they can make significant additions in the draft, and we will see with their limited picks that they do have available. Here it is. I've got it right here. Here are our picks. Throw it up. Screenshot. Boom. The Jets have the 7th overall pick in the first round, 42nd overall second round, 73 overall third round. Remember that whole third round controversy this offseason. 109 overall in the fourth. You have 2 fifths, 146, 157, 26, 188, 209. Those are all the Jets draft picks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 picks the Jets currently have in the 2025 NFL draft. Correct. Philium, FL Phil 98 says, way too early to predict what role Lazard will play, if any. All will be revealed in time. Patience. Yes, patience. Patience is a virtue. Allen presents a trade down scenario. If Ashton Genty is there at 7, which I doubt he will be, yeah, there's a ton of buzz about him and the Raiders, which would make sense. You have Brock Bowers, you have Ashton Genty, you have Geno Smith. Yeah, that would make a lot of sense to just add another freak. Call Ben Johnson, move down to 10, secure pick 72 or pick 39 or 41 and give back pick 73. Yeah, there's some combinations you could do. Cowboys would also be interested at 12. We'll see. Yeah, so if you could do some manipulations where you drop down a few spots, pick up an extra 2, but you have to give up the 3. I mean, yeah, there's different combinations you could do. I appreciate the proper spelling of patience, Philium. I wasn't going to kill you over that. Your message was received, my friend. Your message was received. Yeah, I don't know if Xavier Gibson's long for this roster either, if I'm being blunt. I don't think so. Terrence says, almost every washed-up player tries to grab a few bucks and finish their career here, but not anymore thanks to this new regime. Yeah, all of the Jets free agents are sub 30 years of age. The Jets are not going for the Tyron Smiths, the Mike Williams. They're going for upside guys. Now, obviously, the name value isn't there. What their name value is there for a guy like Tyron Smith. Now, I'll say on Tyron, it just happens, okay? Some players the Jets have brought in that are way past their prime, and it's very clear to everyone in the room that they are not the player they once was. Now, on Tyron, to be fair, coming to the Jets, he was coming off an all-pro season. So it's not like you had to make massive leaps on Tyron. You knew the problems with Tyron, which was health. And that ultimately did finish him off, but that wasn't the problem he had with the Jets. He just was not performing very well. So the Jets are not going for the big name fish that are creating headlines all over the place, or they haven't so far. So it'll be interesting to see. It does not seem like they will be swimming in those waters. To your point, Terrence, it does not seem that way. Jack says, Muji trading back for sure. Too many holes to fill. It takes 2 to tango, but there's a lot of great trade back options for the Jets of different players you could start reaching, because really it's about where you sit in the draft and windows, because depending on where you are can depend on what players are more realistically available, the Kenneth Grants and Colston Lovelands, if you're going to a secondary tight end option, or again, my boy Emeka Ibuka, if you want to go wide receiver. Yeah, there's just an unlimited amount of possibilities you could start toying around with in that possibility. There is. Matthias says you might still be able to trade back to 10 and still get Warren. Another possibility, Mel Kiper talked about this in his mock draft yesterday, and Tyler Warren could be a pick at 5, which is crazy. I thought for sure. So I've said for a while there are 3 players that I'd be incredibly, and maybe that changes in the next month, but there are 3 players right now that I'd be incredibly happy with if the Jets ended up with them. Mason Graham, Michigan interior defensive lineman. Tyler Warren, Penn State tight end. Or Armand Membu, the Missouri offensive tackle. If the Jets walked away with any of those 3 guys, I'd feel good. And when you go through each player, Membu, he could be there, but there's a chance he goes off 4th overall to the Patriots. Mason Graham could be there, but there's a chance he goes 5th overall to the Jaguars. And Tyler Warren, I've felt pretty confident this entire time. There's a 100% chance he's going to be there. However, hearing some of the buzz about Tyler Warren in Jacksonville, I'm like, oh, could he be gone? Now, the good news is if Tyler Warren goes off there and you wanted Tyler Warren, one of the other guys should fall into your lap, right? So there should be someone's going to fall. The fact of the matter is the Jets pick 7. Only 6 players can go ahead of them. And if we're breaking down the 6, let's show the 6 up on the board, right? 1 is at least going to be Cam Ward. 1 is going to be Abdul Carter. 1 is going to be Travis Hunter. Now we're down to 3. And those are the 3 I talked about are the ones I want of either Tyler Warren, Armand Membu, or you go in the other direction. Then we talked about Ted McMillan yesterday. So some way, somehow, there should be a really good player on the board for the New York Jets at 7. If you trade back, and so that's possible, sure, right? You get to 7, and let's say all 3 of those guys are on the board. Unlikely, but let's say they all are. Then you could go, oh, we could totally trade back and still get one of these guys and get assets. That's the perfect way, in theory, if you could do it. For sure. Alan saying if Mason Graham is there at 7, Muji could ship Quinnen elsewhere. You never know. What the hell? Hell no. Quinnen Williams is a big piece of this team. He's a big piece of this team and will continue to be a big piece of it. That's crazy. That's crazy talk. Crazy talk. Come on, Alan. What do we do? We got 200 people in the room. Make sure you guys like the video. Hit subscribe, baby. Boy Green Daily live every day at 7:30. I'll also work in this story. We have a YouTube video up about it as well. And then we'll also open up the phone lines in a minute. Rondale Moore, the Jets hosted on a free agent visit yesterday. Now, Rondale Moore, just like me, is a fellow vertically challenged individual. 5'7", like a $180. Intriguing guy, came out of Purdue, do it all, man, can return the football, punt return, kick return, run the ball, catch the ball. But the interesting thing about a guy like Rondale Moore, again, it's just a free agent visit. The Jets have not signed him yet, is you need manufactured touches for that to come to fruition, which means that it's all going to be on Tanner Engstrand to see if he, in a potential situation, again, Rondale Moore has not been signed, but like Malachi Corley is a manufactured touch guy. You have to like design a play where you just throw the ball in his hands and he goes crazy. So manufactured touches. Rondale Moore, potential manufactured touches. So it's all on your offensive coordinator. If you believe in the offensive coordinator, great. If you don't, well, could be some issues. So he did host Rondale Moore. He's visited with a couple of teams, Bears, the Minnesota Vikings this week. An intriguing player. I think he's an upgrade over Xavier Gibson. So to be honest, I would be fine with that swap. I'd be fine with that swap. I absolutely would be. I would be absolutely fine if they did that switcheroonie. But we'll see if they are. He's made a lot of visits this week. No signing as of yet for what that's going to be. All right, let's do this. We'll open up the phone lines here early on the program. Again, I've been hosting radio all week solo, the Man Child Show with Boy Green in Syracuse. That show is 10 to 12, Monday through Friday. We had Mo Moten on yesterday. It's a great interview. You guys should go check that out. We talked a little Jets on there. And then today will be a lot of basketball. March Madness. Again, if you have not joined the Bracket Challenge, baby, make sure you guys download the ESPN Tournament Challenge app. So it's very easy if you don't have it already. And then join my bracket group. It's the only bracket group I'm going to be in. And it's through my radio show. And I'll also be talking about it here on Boy Green Daily once the tournament starts. So make sure your display name is something interesting, whether, again, it's your YouTube name or whatever, because we'll be talking about it live on the radio. And you can compete against me, some other Jet fans, some of the radio talent at my station. And the group name to search for is Manchild Madness 2025. Again, Manchild, Manchild, space, Madness, Madness 2025. And make sure you guys join that official bracket challenge and compete against us. And like I said, your YouTube name would be great because I'll recognize it, or something interesting. That'd be great too. So I hope you guys can all join up with that. We're trying to get a significant amount of people in there. That'd be great. So feel free to join, baby. It's going to be a lot of fun. College basketball at its finest. MFC says, Rondale Moore, Alan Lazard, Xavier Gibson, Chosen Henderson. What a lineup. Hey, there you go. Now we're cooking. Pete says, Corley can do the same thing. Corley is different because Corley's 40 pounds heavier than Rondale Moore. Corley's like 215, 217, and Rondale's like a $180. So Corley can do it in a much different way. He's thicker. And I wonder how the Jets coaching staff feels about him. Now, the fact that they even hosted Rondale Moore than they have Corley is curious, because what how many of those kind of guys do you want on the team? And he's taller, obviously. Corley's 5'11", Rondale's 5'7". Jack says, anyone remember who the wide receivers were that were left after we chose Corley? Oh, like on the board? Oh, we can find that. That's easy to find. So let's go 2024 NFL draft results. Okay. All right. Probably easier to find on the old Wikipedia. So let's see. Hopefully there's no like superstar, but I'm going to be honest, I can't remember. So the Jets traded up to the first pick in the third round. They took Malachi Corley. Let me see the other wide receivers that came off the board. The next wide receiver didn't come off the board until Jermaine Burton near the end of the third round. He had a lot of off-the-field problems, so he falls all the way to the third round. So he was on the board. Roman Wilson, the Michigan guy, we liked a lot. He had injuries last year, so we didn't really see him operate. Jalen McMillan, that's a miss. Obviously, he was really good for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So that's a receiver the Jets passed on. Jalen McMillan was really, really good for the Buccaneers. Luke McCaffrey, brother of Christian McCaffrey, he was the last pick in the third round. I don't think he got a lot of action this year. Troy Franklin, Denver Broncos. A lot of Jet fans wanted him. I don't think he did anything in Denver that I remember. You have Javon Baker, who absolutely did nothing for the New England Patriots. He was a 4th-round pick. You have Tez Walker. He didn't get on the field really for the Ravens. Let me keep going here. What other wide receivers of note? Jacob Cowing of the 49ers. He had a couple of moments, but nothing crazy. Anthony Gold, Indianapolis Colts. Again, I don't remember him doing anything. Anais Smith didn't do anything with the Philadelphia Eagles. Jamari Thrash of the Browns. I don't remember him doing much. I'm trying to see if there's Bub Means. Bub Means was with the Saints. No clue. Jaquan Jackson of the Titans, nothing there. Malik Washington for the Dolphins. I really liked him, but I don't think he did anything. Johnny Wilson, that's Ricky's boy that went to the Eagles, and I think he's doing some wide receiver and tight end. I'm trying to just gander through to see if there's any other wide receiver that we crazy missed on. And I don't really see anyone on this list. This time, Brendan Rice, remember the son of Jerry Rice? Yeah, he was a late 7th-round pick. Vele, oh, there you go. The Broncos 235th overall. He had some moments with the Denver Broncos last year. He was the 235th overall pick. Taj Washington went to the Dolphins. Let me see. Cornelius Johnson. That's all the wide receivers. So I was able to kind of scan through that relatively quickly there. But yeah, so no one, there's a few. Jalen McMillan in the 3rd round. Vele in the 7th round, 235th overall. So there's a couple. But, the Jets really wanted him that bad. So, yeah, they wanted him real bad. But yeah, that's the gist. Okay, let's do this. We'll open up the phone lines next, and you guys can, you want Chosen Anderson or anything else, draft related, free agency, everything and anything is on the table here. More coming up after this quick TO.
Boy Green, Bugging Daily, Bugging Daily, Bugging Daily. Talking Jets football, man. Boy Green, Bugging Daily, Bugging Daily, Bugging Daily. New York Jets Football Club. Offense, defense, special teams. Watch Jets football with Boy Green. J-E-T-S. Jets, Jets, Jets. Let's go.
I love that. J-Boy goes, hit the song. It's almost like, hit my music. And it hits. Very nice. Before we get to the phone lines, I see we have this comment in from earlier. I missed it. It's from a click and a view. I can't put it up on the screen because it was too long ago. But it said, Paul, can I get your honest review on Bobby Saleh as a coach? Do you think he will ever get the chance to be a head coach again? To be honest, it looked this close to old Robert Saleh getting the Jaguars gig. And then he looked legitimately in the running for the Cowboys before they just went with Brian Schottenheimer. I still can't believe that. That's going to be crazy. When the Cowboys and Jets play this year and Brian Schottenheimer's on the other side, I'm going to be like, what the hell? To be honest, Robert Saleh was a terrible head coach. 16 games under 500. Poor in time management situations. Poor in handling of players. Again, I grew up in a military family, so when you made a mistake, you got chewed out. Now, you don't have to do that publicly. Some people do it, like Brian Dable. Like, he goes crazy on players, but, he's on the hot seat, too. So, there are Bill Parcells, right? He chews people out. Had great success. There are people that chewed people out and have great success. There have been people that are more conservative in nature that have had great success. So, it just sort of depends. But, obviously, had a issue with discipline. That's a big one. But can he learn from these things? Of course he can. I like Robert Saleh, the man. I like Robert Saleh, the family man. All of that, I dig. I dig Robert Saleh. That's how I initially got sold on Robert Saleh. He joined the Adam Schefter podcast. He talked about his wife, Sanaa. He talked about his cajillion children. He talked about his passion for the game. He talked about his 9/11 story of how that, with almost losing his brother, and how that changed his entire life. He's like, I'm not going to be in a cubicle. I'm going to be a football coach. There's a lot to love about Saleh. But unfortunately, he was just a bad coach. Now, some people are really good coordinators and terrible head coaches, and they know their role. But I think Saleh will get another opportunity. I do. His time here will not be remembered fondly outside of the Jet fan that apparently was outside in a bush while Robert Saleh was going inside the building and giving us updates on social media. Besides that guy, everything else, not so much. But good question. Thank you so much for asking it. That's cool, kind of off the beaten path. All right, let's go to the phone lines. Hep played the song, Hit My Music, and that song was played. Now let's go to the phone lines, and we'll start off with Hep. You're on the show. What's up, Hep?
Hey, Paul. Hey, fellas. I was considering, what's your opinion on a right tackle that can be available to us at 7, and would you consider taking him over Warren if he's there, just to solidify the offensive line and possibly pick up a tight end in a later round?
That's a great point, and certainly because of the depth of the tight end class, you could make that argument that you may want to get your right tackle first and figure out tight end later, as opposed to the opposite strategy, because it's going to be more difficult to find these offensive tackles. I'm totally on board with a potential right tackle at 7. My favorite at this moment is Armand Membu if he's on the board. And then you just complete your offensive line. You have Olu Fashanu, John Simpson, Joe Tippmann, AVT, and boom, Armand Membu. And I'm probably, to be honest, we're all talking about extensions. Ooh, pay Sauce. Ooh, pay, Garrett Wilson. Ooh, pay this guy. One sneaky guy that the Jets should strongly consider paying is John Simpson. We signed him, and a lot of people said, oh, what a scrub signing. And he was awesome last year. And he's now heading into a contract year because they signed him to a 2-year deal, and he seems to really enjoy the Jets, enjoy the Jet fans and stuff. John Simpson's 100% a guy that I would sort of be curious about to see if he'd be extension interested in talking about that conversation. But, yeah, Armand Membu certainly makes sense at 7 if he's on the board. Will Campbell is the guy that's got short T-Rex arms, and he would have the smallest wingspan of any NFL player that's ever come through the league to play offensive tackle, which is like historic. So is he playing left tackle? Is he playing guard? If he's playing guard, how is that helping the Jets? So that's despite what everyone says about him, he could go 4th overall because some people call him the best offensive lineman in this class. He's there. I also like Kelvin Banks out of Texas. So he was early on. If we 2 months ago, we're talking 7th overall. Ooh, Kelvin Banks, but he sort of dropped off from the 7th overall conversation. But that's another right tackle. That could be a small trade back scenario to get him over your tight end.
Now I'm curious. Would you trade a 3rd round pick for Olave? The guy from New Orleans.
I would. Yeah, for a 3rd, I would. Yeah, sure. Chris Olave is a really talented player. Obviously, there's the Ohio State boys, and the frat party they'd throw when he shows back up at One Jets Drive. I'm sure would be epic. But I would for a 3rd. Now, again, obviously, for people who don't know, he's super talented, and when he's been on the field, he's been great. He just has a long history of concussions in the National Football League, and his latest one was very scary. That ended his season last year. He was carted off the field. And that looked nasty, and he's had a lot of them. And that's the part, like, you break your arm and you recover your broken arm. Here you go. Like, a concussion is such a mystery bag of how many concussions you can have versus what's diagnosed, all this other stuff. It's just a more complicated picture. But absolutely, I would. I'd be interested in Chris Olave for the right price.
Yeah, those concussions are no joke, especially later on in life. I mean, even if you break a shoulder when you're young, when you're older, that arthritis starts to kick in and sit in there,
Yeah.
So, I mean, I feel bad for these guys as far as that's concerned. But, I think that would be an interesting thing to see all the reunion, class college reunion. Has that ever been done before?
I would say, everyone talks about on the Eagles, they have all those Georgia boys over there. I would have to double check if all are within the same class, because the uniqueness, obviously, of this Ohio State connection is that Justin Fields was a quarterback. Josh Myers, who's now the backup center, was his starting center. He had Jeremy Ruckert at tight end. He had Garrett Wilson, and then he would have had Chris Olave. So that would just, for them, not only to be all from the same school, that's like an Eagles thing, everyone's from Georgia, but for them all to be from the same team, and literally former teammates that are now reunited as brothers. That's pretty, I'm sure it's happened before, but it's just wild for it to happen in such a way this season so far. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Thanks, Paul.
Appreciate you, Hep. Thank you so much. And hey, an Ohio State reunion I'd like to see. Again, a Mecca Ibuka. That's what I'd like to see. Damn straight, baby. Give it to me. Again, we got 227 people in the room. Make sure you guys like the video and hit subscribe. Spread the gospel of all things Boy Green Daily, baby, here on the program, if you can. All right, let's go back to the phone lines here. We've got EZ on the show. What's up, EZ?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You're going to have to call me a little bit later.
Okay,
I
no
tried
problem.
moving the dumpster, and I didn't realize they had the door open. So now I'm in the process of putting some stuff back on.
Oh, God. Okay. Well,
That's all right.
EZ.
It's not a big deal. Oh,
Sure,
I
okay.
can talk real quick, though.
All right.
I wouldn't mind
Sure.
having Robbie Anderson back.
All right.
I think that would be cool. I mean, I'm not like all in about it, but you know, I liked Robbie. I loved him when he first came out. He was if you can deal with me doing this remotely, I can talk. But yeah, I liked Robbie. I always liked him. When I saw him in preseason, I was like, they have got to sign this guy. He's just too good. I don't care what his pedigree was. I didn't care about any of that crap. I like results, and I like speed. It's like
Speed and results are good.
I wanted Xavier Worthy last year, and everyone was like, "Oh, he doesn't know the route tree." And the only reason I'm glad the Jets didn't take him is because that coaching staff was a bunch of morons, and they would have said, "Oh, we want him to learn how to do it down and in." You know, who cares? Tell him, I'll hit you at the left goalpost. Go as fast as you can. The ball will be there. You know, that's what you use with these guys. You got to see, that's the thing with coaching. A good coach will take the players he has, evaluate what they can and cannot do, put them in positions to make plays, and then watch the fruits grow, you know?
Amen.
That's what Parcells did.
Mm-hmm.
Parcells was never really a 3-4 guy. He was a 4-3 guy most of his career. Got to the Giants when he had these monsters that you know were great players. He went with the 4-3. I mean the 3-4. You know, because he had Taylor and he had Harry Carson and he had Banks. I mean, he had the personnel that would work doing a different system, and he was smart enough to know it, and he used it. And he had a smart quarterback. Phil Simms was a smart quarterback. Was he a Hall of Fame quarterback? You can argue yes, you can argue no, because he got them to one Super Bowl, and Jeff Hostetler won it, but he got them to a second one, and he won that one. So you got to give him some props for that. But the whole point is you got to take what you have and use it and make it work. And if you can do that and get good results, you're a good coach.
I agree, you see, and catch your breath, man. You sound out of breath out there, grabbing all your stuff that fell out of a dumpster from a door that was open. That's Gator McCluskey, easy from his Burger King mic, said, "Get Robbie Anderson and watch his fruits." And there was fruits and Robbie Anderson there, that's for sure. I love easy. Oh my God, you're gonna have to call back and left the dumpster door open, and geez. Pull over. Wow, the things that happen in Easy's life. I'm glad we're here for Easy. Good Lord. Oh my God. All right, you guys. I'm crying laughing. You guys keep. Oh boy, they're phenomenal. I love the show. J Boy giving a membership here on the Boy Green Coffee Club. Appreciate you, J Boy. Let's put another raffle ticket in the basket. That's for sure. Absolutely. And that membership went to, all right, let's let the YouTube gods catch up on that one. I'll put that up. And let's see, what do we got here for you, J Boy? That is a 20. That's an even 20 raffle ticket so far for you, J Boy. Let's frickin' roll, baby. Appreciate you. And Jerby just dropped in the Discord, by the way. Ghost of 3 Sibs. Oh, there you go. Okay, Ghost of 3 Sibs, you're just gifted a Boy Green Coffee Club membership. God bless. Shout out. Ghost of 3 Sibs. All right. Let's go back to the phone lines. Where else can we go from here? Only God knows. Chef Kevin Gilbert joins us here on the show. What's up, Chef?
BG, what's up, man? How you feeling?
Oh boy. Depends after the caller, I could feel differently. It's subject to change.
Well, I like Easy, man. He's a good dude, man.
Yeah.
You never really know where he's gonna go with his takes
No,
and whatnot.
never. No.
But he's one of the first dudes, listeners that like regular people that come on here. Him,
Mhm.
Heb, FL Phil,
Mhm.
Bradshaw, like those are the OG callers that
No doubt.
I remember and like from your show when when you first started. So with Easy, man, just get some coffee going, man. The day will get better, man.
That's right. I
Stuff
love it,
like that.
Easy.
All right.
Yeah, it's okay. Just make
Um,
sure you latch the door next time, Easy. Latch the door. I don't want you running all over the place, losing your biscuits. Let's make sure we latch that door next time, pal. Anywho,
but yeah, I the other day, man, you shared but didn't go into detail on that. That's all good about number one Austrian Jet fan, man. Just
yes,
thinking about you, your family, man. Think things will get better, man. Obviously we don't know details or extent of what you got going on. That's totally fine, but just know community's here, man. You're good person, man. We got your back. Just
amen.
reach out if you need anything, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there you go.
I didn't think that this would be a topic of discussion for today with Robbie Anderson, man. Like
Unbelievable.
he's a he's a Jersey dude. He grew up maybe about 15 minutes away from me. He's from Fair
Oh
Lawn,
wow.
so he's from the area, but he didn't like I didn't remember him at all or whatever because he
Oof.
moved or whatever. I did this when
Yeah.
he was a Jet and it came out. Oh, he's from New Jersey, and then I did my research and went out and
Oh
then
yeah.
found that out or whatever. But it would be nice. But the thing is, like, he's not like in our plans, man. I don't think that like Jets haven't came out saying like, hey, we want him. This is just him kind of making a
A
kind of
plea.
case.
Yeah.
You know what
Right.
I'm saying? I don't want to go like sun him or play him and saying he's begging for a job. But it's like, if no team has picked you up and you got to go on, some shows or whatever and say, hey, I'm available. Like, all these teams know you're available. Like, there's a reason. And for him being 6'3", so he's a target,
Yeah.
but he's not like, I don't know. When you look at the stats over the last couple of seasons, like nothing really pops off the charts, man. Like when he left us to go to Carolina, he had his 1,000-yard
Yep.
season, but that was the only one, man.
Yeah. That's
And
it.
he went, and when he was with us, I think it was like either 50 or 60 catches was the most that he done. So,
Hmm.
there is some production there, but that was before 2020 with us. So like to kind of bank on something now, like I'm not sold on that.
Yeah.
I hear you, maybe a good story or whatever, but he's not a veteran that wouldn't mind like being on the practice squad, just kind of waiting in the wings.
That's
Like
true. Yeah.
for him to be on our 53-man roster, I really don't see how that's gonna like be helpful, beneficial for us.
Hmm.
Special team stuff, like I don't really see that kind of working out or whatever. But at this point, just kind of let the new regime, let Muji and these guys cook. Basically, from what I've seen with free agency and everything like that, there hasn't been any big splashes, which is fine.
Hmm.
They're just right now, just kind of like it seems like just retooling, making sure that they get their cap space in the right area, getting their kind of guys to
Hmm.
buy into their system and whatnot. So I could dig it. It's just the draft and what we're gonna do, and just knowing expectations, because expectations thinking that we're gonna get some studs in day two, day three of the draft. That's not likely. Could we find a gem or two? Yeah, and then develop and we'll be good later on, of course. But to expect that they'll be like plug and play day two, day three, I don't think that's realistic. So at this point, it's just like trying to see what we can do with building depth at our positions. Definitely the offensive side of the ball. I've been saying it's about getting Warren. Like I feel like that's really important for us because
Yeah.
outside of Garrett, outside of G5, who's our best offensive player? Not offensive weapon, just offensive player besides Garrett.
Brees.
Who and then who's next? That's my point, man. So
Oh.
that it's tough. And
Yeah.
then knowing us, man, like there was a lot of people last year was like, hey, Brees got to go. Brees is done this and
Yeah.
that or whatever. I always been a part of like, yo, we got Brees. I was the person that was like, Joe Douglas, why are we drafting two running backs? Like
Hmm.
that was a mystery to me, knowing that we had that other dude out of Pittsburgh that we drafted with Warren. So for me, Izzy. So for me, it was like, a head scratcher. But you got Garrett, Brees, which, we don't know what Brees we're gonna get or whatever. We hope we're
Hmm.
getting that guy year one, year two, but we
Yeah.
don't know. And then outside of
Yeah.
that, who do we got? So for me, I think it's like the next is like Olu, like for
Yeah. Oh,
offensive
right.
players,
Yeah.
like.
Sure. Yeah.
But then it's like, he had an injury and all that, so we gotta really build and develop the offensive side of the ball and kind of get things right, because if we don't, it's going to be a little scary. But then it's like the play style. We just got to kind of wait and see, and just dictate and make sure that we don't get too rattled with what's going on. Just kind of just be focused at this point. Like, I'm already done with the other stuff, man. Just knowing about all the old stuff that we had or whatever. Cool, fresh start. The coaching. Coaching has a lot to do with how we can mold these players and buy into the schemes and everything like that.
Hmm.
Obviously first time coach, but he's been around for a little bit and the defense looked good. It's just buying in, man. So that's kind of all I gotta say. Other than that, man, today, you mind me plugging my the Asmaniac Madness?
Plug away. Oh, hell yeah. Plug, mother. Yes, plug. What do we got cooking?
Yeah, so I know, out of the Boy Green Coffee Club members, out of the callers,
Yeah.
Johnny Boy was able to move on.
Hmm.
So for me, it's almost like, win-win for the show, because going against if Snowball wins,
Right.
it's still a good, still a good dude and all that, and still a coffee club member.
So you rolling over? That's what's happened? You
Man,
rolling
you
over?
crazy. Man, you crazy.
Snowball sucking, baby. You're being very respectful. I
Yeah,
like that,
yeah,
chef.
nah,
Hey, it's a win for everybody. You're gonna
yeah,
club
yeah.
him.
I tried, man. I
Okay.
tried, and
There,
and
there
and
you go.
he's spoken to you before or
Yeah,
whatever on
nice
the
guy.
show, and this stuff kind of got like people that wasn't calling before calling
Mhm.
again.
Yeah.
Um, I called out Bonesy when
Oh
the
yeah.
brackets first came out, saying, "Hey, he's back. He's calm because he was high on Joe Douglas. Still is. Man, I got a whole arsenal, a
Yeah.
whole arsenal.
Ooh.
My clips are ready for
Mm.
Bonesy, knowing that he just can't let go of Joe Douglas. This guy is
Oh,
just
jeez.
a disaster after disaster. And I could link this. All right, so Robbie Anderson, right? So that was the one of his first mistakes, not re-signing Robbie at that
Correct.
time.
And he
Uh,
admitted it. He came out. Joe
and
Douglas came
he
out later and said, "Ah, shit, I should have done that." Yeah,
and he doesn't even do that. He doesn't admit that stuff, but he admitted that, and that was
he
in his
did.
first tenure, man. That
Hmm.
was like, you're not giving Darnold any weapons, man. Like, what are you even thinking about?
Hmm.
So I'm ready for the smoke, man. Snowball,
Ooh,
he
yeah,
he didn't want the drama with me. He calls a hand like this March
yeah.
with your show, Jake's show, a couple other shows. Just this month, with him calling in, is the same amount, the total that he did for the last 2 years. He don't even call in. So this is the
Mm.
thing. If this is about callers and all that kind of stuff, bringing the quality and all that, cool. He's an artist. That's fine. I'm an artist too. I do edible art. I
Yeah,
went to college and took. I was in culinary arts. All right, so we both do the art stuff and all that.
sure.
Mine's edible, visual. His the visual stuff too.
Hmm.
So it's right now. It's like who's gonna give a good show? Who's gonna put on a good show in the next round? And I'm telling you, I'm bringing the heat, man. I ain't
Okay.
playing. I'm a smoke Bonesy, man. All
Oh,
that
baby.
JD talk, yo. I'm like, my ears bleed when I hear about, oh yeah, Joe Douglas is good and this. Man, y'all, yo, come on, don't get me started. It's too early for this stuff, man. I
All
appreciate you,
right.
brother. Vote for me. Second show. Second
There
show
you go.
today. Vote
Okay.
Chef Kevin, man. Let's go to the second round. Let's put in this work, man.
Love it. Thank you, Chef. Thanks for calling in. Again, a second Jake Asman show today is coming. So Jake Asman show number 2. He has 2 shows every day. The second show is where you can do the voting. Now, Chef is one option. Another option. It looks like he's in hell. Let's go to Snowball. Hey, Snowball.
How are you?
Ooh, I'm doing good. You heard all that smoke from Chef Kevin there? Hmm?
I have nothing but respect for Chef Kevin. If he wants to, as he say, bring the smoke, then I'm ready. He can
Oh,
he can bring
okay.
all the smoke. I was actually very impressed by his performance yesterday on the Jake Asman show. I can't. I'm sorry. I just can't. I can't top that. He
Okay.
with his green chef uniform and his jet necklace and his flames and his food and
Sure.
his young son. All respect. So
Yeah.
I don't.
But
Unfortunately,
but
I don't have that. I'm a school teacher. I don't have a class right now, so I figured I'd call in. And
I love it. It
I'm in the
looks like
dark
you're in
room.
hell. Drag Chef Kevin to hell and see what you can do down there. Look at that.
I can invite him into the darkness. So that's something
Okay.
that's something that I can do. Anyway, I just wanted to call and defend myself. That's all.
I love
Just
it.
I
Yeah.
can't compete with flames, food, and children and all that stuff. And I can't. But I am here for. I mean, I think I contribute a lot to both
There's
channels.
no
So
doubt. 100%.
yeah.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, sometimes I have classes and I can't call in the
Of
morning.
course.
So
Yeah.
this just so happens that today there was no class during this time, so I figured I could call in.
Perfect.
And sometimes I'm just working late at school, so I don't have the opportunity to call
course.
in. So
Yeah. Yeah.
so sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Oh yes, have I called in more often this month? And yeah, because there's something on the line, of course.
Of
But
course. Yeah.
I try to make time when I can. So that's it.
Yeah.
And that's all I have to say. Paul, have a great day. Everyone, enjoy your day, and we'll see what happens. What happens
Okay.
happens. That's it.
Fair enough. I love that from Snowball. Jack saying a snowball's chance in hell. Hey, so you're saying there's a chance. So there you go. That's a second Jake Asmith show. Snowball versus Chef Kevin Gilbert. That was funny. I was like, are we in hell? I was like, is the Grim Reaper calling into the show? Boy Green, it's time, pal. Well, all right. Thanks, everybody. And here we go. All right, let's go next. Johnny Boy is in the mix, following up with the Snowball there. What's up, Johnny? You're on mute. We just gotta. Up, frozen now. Oh boy. Oh boy. Let me try to whoop whoop. Okay. Sorry, Johnny. It looks like you're in a tunnel, perhaps. Not a hell tunnel, but a tunnel nonetheless. So we'll try to keep an eye on that, Johnny. I'll try to come back to you if that clears up. Let's go next year. Ricky New York here on the show.
Hey, how's it going, Paul?
Hey, what's going on, Ricky?
Not a whole lot. I would have to say that I'm absolutely, definitely no on Robbie. Robbie Anderson. I'm not calling him chosen, which he was Robbie Anderson when he was here. And then when he went to
That's
Miami,
right. So let's stick it with that.
Chosen,
That'll be easier to try to catch up on all the names. Yeah, Robbie Anderson. There you go.
Yeah, he's but I guess he's changing his name again to Robbie's still available. So he's not chosen anymore.
Unchosen.
Yeah, unchosen.
Oh, that's funny. Oh my god. You guys are killing me today.
At any rate, when I first started kind of digging into draft prospects, I like Jack Besh a whole lot, but his teammate, Savion Williams, was a very intriguing player. And initially, when I started watching him, I really, really liked him. But then I kind of went, you know what? This guy would have to go to the right team, the right situation where they schemed things for him. And not knowing what our offense was really going to be at that time, I just kind of took him off my board. However, listening to Glenn's comments, Engstrom was involved in their offense more than what a lot of people thought. Now I'm thinking, and especially with the addition of Justin Fields. So now we can do like RPO shit at the line, and you're going to defend Brees, you're going to defend Justin Fields. Then I'm thinking like, wow, if we had a receiver like that you could line up and run him like a running back. Hell, he threw a touchdown pass last year too.
Mhm.
which, shades of Brad Smith. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
But I've had some people go, oh, well, you know what? We've got Corley. He can do the same thing. Dude, listen, Corley ain't 6'4", 230 pounds, and it can jump out of the building.
Mhm.
Now, Corley, and listen, the problem with Corley last year, it wasn't ability or anything else. Like, from my understanding, he walked into the building acting like he was a rock star. Maybe that whole yak king, yak god thing went to his head. But multiple sources from the Jets said that he wasn't seeing the field because he had an immaturity problem.
I've heard that as well. Yes.
Okay, let's really think about that. The same coaching staff that rolled out Michael Clements game after game after game said this kid was so immature they couldn't even let him on the field.
That's a good point. Yeah.
That really says quite a bit. And people went, oh, he got in the doghouse because he dropped the ball when he scored that touchdown or almost scored that touchdown.
Yeah, right. Almost. Yeah.
Say. But no, like the stupid mistake of dropping the ball, that was a symptom of a much bigger problem, I think. And the fact that even after he did that, he didn't even really seem to have any remorse.
Zero. That's the thing that pissed me off, to be honest with you, Ricky. Going back to that Corley thing, is okay, you make a dumb mistake. People make dumb mistakes, and you're getting roasted for that. It is what it is. But the after going, he was asked, I can't even remember all the questions, but he was asked stuff, and he was just like, what'd you learn from it? Oh, that was it. What'd you learn from it? He's like, I learned nothing. I learned I shouldn't drop the ball short of the end zone. Like, who cares? And yeah, there was just zero remorse. All of it, every media opportunity, it was just goofing around, smiling like he didn't take it very seriously. I just feel like if it was me and I was Corley and I fumbled the ball short of the goal line, I'd be like, I apologize to my teammates. I messed up, incredibly selfish, dumb, speaking to the media and also echo it as well, saying, I'll never do that again. I shouldn't have done that. Nothing. But he had none of that kind of tone.
No, not at all. He was like, it could happen to anybody. Well,
right.
No, not really. At any rate, give me a bigger, stronger guy that can do all that stuff and can go up and get some contested balls. I'm all about it. That he's back on my board. I wouldn't probably take him as high as his teammate Besh or Isaiah Bond or one of those guys, but
sure.
But I'm not completely discounting him anymore either. Like, man, think about that. Like, think about Justin Fields, Breece Hall, and then you got Tyler Warren that you got in the first round. Mm-hmm. And then you got this monster that you probably grab in the fourth round or something that, I think he had, around 700 yards receiving, but then had like another 5-something rushing. And half a dozen touchdowns on the ground and in the air. Like that's just, I like that. I like that versatility. And the way that it looks like they're starting to construct this and what it looks like they have in mind for this offense. Like now I'm like, shit, you know what? That's not a guy I should take off that board. Maybe I should put him a little higher on my board.
Yeah.
So anyways, looking forward to it. God, a month to go, man. Like 4 weeks away, and we get all the answers that all the speculation and shit will be out the window. We'll know, and we'll have a clear picture of what we're gonna do moving forward.
I can't wait. Ricky, thanks for the call. And I'll just say in general, I enjoy the mock draft process, the off-season process, so I don't mind the build-up to the draft. I know, good things come to those who wait, basically. And we're going to obviously have our live draft show. That'll be the Thursday night of draft week, draft day, Thursday, April 24th, I believe it is. So I can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. I think we got him back. Johnny Boy here on the program. Oh, you're on mute.
What up, brother?
Oh, there you go. Hey, what's up, Johnny? Good to see you.
Hey, man, my bad. I was in a dead spot driving
that's
into
okay.
the office real quick. Robbie Anderson. Is this a real convo that is being had?
In 2025 on March 19th. Yeah.
I love Easy and a lot of Easy's takes because you know he's a true fan. Like, you know, he's one of those guys that if you were rocking with us when we were down, like, and you want to come back, then hey, it is what it is. But if you're talking about you wanting like a speedster or something, there's some in this draft that we could potentially get, right? Like, I'm big on the Smith cat, and that's because I'm a Georgia fan. I mean, you know that, BG.
Of course.
And whatnot.
Yeah, right.
So I would love to have him. But at the same time, I'm kind of on the same boat with Ricky. I want a big, tall receiver. That, like, you know what I mean? That's where I'm at. That's why the Pat Bryant, for myself, is one wide receiver that I would not mind having itself because he has the size as well as the speed and all that. Just the biggest thing with him is that he went to Illinois. And, you know, they're not known for that. But Robbie Anderson is a giant hell to the no. Like, you can't. That would be such a mockery of the organization even more for us to go ahead and even bring that individual on. I mean, the regime is saying we're going younger, not older. So that would be somebody that I would say no to. But the other thing I came on here, all right, I love Chef Kev. That's my guy.
Of course.
Right? And, you know, we talk off air, stuff like that. We've known each other for a minute. He's been on Jets Worldwide, et cetera, et cetera. But he is going against Snowball. Snowball, I mean, that's my right-hand dude right there.
Of course,
you know? And I know Snowball, he's not going to say anything, but I'm going to say things for Snowball itself, all right?
Please do.
Snowball does a lot for the community. He's one of the OGs as well as Chef Kev. But at the same time, yo, he's teaching the youth, man. He's teaching the young cats that are up and coming about the New York Jets and how it builds loyalty and respect. They can't see him, if you get what I'm trying to say, on there. So, hey, man, vote for Snowball. He's that guy. Like, all these cool emojis that you guys see and that you use on an everyday basis a lot of that stuff comes from him as well. He does stuff in the backgrounds, right?
Yeah,
so
100%.
Both
all of these are Snowball. Yep.
Because I guarantee he's gonna make the competition melt, baby. So, but there it is. Look at that.
Look at all these. These are all Snowball. Snowball made every bleeping one of these. And shout out. Look at that. Hey, wait a second. Who's that guy? Wait a second. I you know, the Trojan Johnny boy. MFC, Ted, Phil, Austrian, salute, prayers up to Austrian, Jimmy Jets, Emoji. I mean, even Chef Kev himself. Snowball did this. Snowball's the one that made this, for goodness sake. So, yeah, come on now.
So put that into consideration as well, man. So,
yes.
All right, well, I'm probably next time I go to the Cloverleaf, I'm probably going to get some metal shavings in my burger. So,
there you go.
Hey, shut you out, Chef Kev, too, though. Vote Snowball, man. BG, appreciate you. But hell no to Robbie Anderson. I'm not going to call him no chosen because he was never chosen, baby. It was always Robbie.
Oof. Okay. And I wonder if when he said not chosen, was that a shot at him being undrafted? He did not get chosen? Oof. 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 But hey, here's a hot take. Let's throw this one out there before we go back to the phone lines. Michael Biashi here. Forget Anderson. You want to bring back a former Jets wide receiver? He says bring back Elijah Moore. Now, Elijah is a few tacos short of a combo meal, if you catch my drift. There's some extracurricular activities happening there, but he's a younger guy that has the upside. No offense to Robbie, but Michael, you might be onto something here with the old Elijah, if you're going to go in that youth movement sort of thing. I hope, by the way, that it is a good battle between one Snowball and Chef Kev later. That'll be on the Jake Gasman show, apparently the second show, so somewhere in the afternoon, I guess. So good luck to both individuals. They're both Boy Green Coffee Club members. I appreciate them well. Much respect, much love. I love both of those guys. Snowball obviously makes all the emojis on this channel, and Chef Kev has been wonderfully generous with his support of this channel with super chats and memberships. And look at that. Literally, as I'm saying that, Chef Kevin Gilbert sends in another super chat. I'm telling you, this guy has been a big piece of the show, and I love having him a piece of this show. Every time I get a super chat, let's play it.
Wow.
Fastest Food Reviews, a.k.a. Chef Kevin Gilbert, says, I employ the youth. I hire high school and college students. See? You know, I appreciate the counter to that Fastest Food Reviews. I appreciate that. By the way, with your previous Super Chat combinations, you just got yourself 2 more raffle tickets to our contest. 7 raffle tickets so far this month, Chef Kevin Gilbert. Appreciate you, sir. Chef Kevin Gilbert, stand-up guy. Stand-up guy. Both will be making their cases. Thank you, Chef Kevin Gilbert, for the Super Chat. And for the wise words, sir, that you employ the youth. You hire high school and college students. That's really cool of you. I appreciate that. All right, let's go to the phone lines once again, baby. We got 300 people in the room. Like the video, hit subscribe. We go to a very polarizing guy over the last 7 days. Let's go to Neil joining us here on the show. Hello, Neil. How are you, pal? How you doing?
Polarizing? I don't know. I guess I this matchup later, Snowball is a great guy. I met him personally. He came to my house 4th of July.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful, wonderful guy.
Oh, nice.
I was on Jets Worldwide. I advanced past Florida Phil and a couple other guys. I think I was one of the it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And those guys are great guys. Chef Kevin is really grown on me. I just, one thing I have to do, and, the best way to my heart is through my stomach.
Oh,
so I have to have some, Chef Kevin food. That would be, I think maybe I'll have him if he could come to out east in Long Island. I'd love him to hit the grill at my 4th of July soiree, and I'll have.
There you go. Well, I'll tell you this. I've met Snowball before. He was at our tailgate last year. I did not meet Chef Kevin Gilbert. He was.
I didn't either. I never met Chef.
But
he sounds like a great guy.
He does. And Chef, again, we're working on the details behind the scenes. We're going to do a big Boy Green tailgate. We're going to pick a game. We're going to do a whole thing beforehand. Chef Kevin Gilbert has volunteered his services to cater that event with his cooking. So that will be a chance for everyone to try out. Again, more details to come. We'll be testing out all the great Chef Kevin Gilbert food that I'm always hungry for, and I see that he's posting all over the place. So that looks
sounds like it's an amazing. I mean, he sounds like he has an amazing restaurant.
Yeah,
great stuff. And for Johnny to say that he's eating there and everything, and he Johnny's Snowball's partner on Jets Worldwide, so. Yeah. He can't vote against Snowball. The thing about Snowball is he's very unassuming, quiet.
Very.
But like you said, he's a tremendous contributor to all the shows, what he does. And
even if you don't see it. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just a quiet, he's a doer, but he does it behind the scenes. Yeah. And, when you're doing these Sweet 16 things, you know how it is. Everybody that bloviates, like the big bloviators are the ones that get the most attention, and Snowball is the bottom of that list. He's just not.
It's not his bag. 100%. I understand. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not going to be. He's not that. Guy like he has passion. I will say that, but he'll do it in person. He's not going to be. He's not going to be, but he's always there. He's at the T-Squared. He's at the events. You met him. Yeah. He's really takes his time, and this is what it's all about with these shows. These are OG guys. We're the guys that that really have dealt with the pain. You guys help alleviate the pain that we've dealt with for all these years, and this is such, your show, Jake's show. Buffalo Jet fan. I love the content. I love to hear guys' opinions. One thing I'm really weak on, I'm not a draft guy. I'm not a college football watcher. So, when guys ask my opinion, who do you think we should take? Yada, yada, yada. I think Ricky does a great job.
Sure.
I give these guys a lot of credit. I don't have the passion or the time to go through the draft. Who do we like? Who is
a lot of
this?
hoopla.
Who is that? Yeah. It's so much, there's so much to it. And we just have to rely on the coaching and Muji to make the right decisions on what's going to happen with our team. But it looks pretty clear this year, unlike a lot of other years. It really looks kind of clear. We have to take the tight end or go offensive line.
That feels like it. Yeah.
We either go with this, whoever's available to us. I think we're going to get a quality player at 7. I mean, that goes without saying. And then the rest of it, we have to fill in the holes that we have, Freaking Robbie Anderson. You got to be kidding me, man.
I can't believe on March 19th, 2025, I'm reading that headline. That is sort of unbelievable. I couldn't even believe when he was asked. So players get asked that softball question all the time on shows. Hey, by the way, before you get out of here, is there any team in particular? Like draft prospects get asked, is there a team you'd prefer? Any team would be great. It's normally what you get. But Robbie goes, well, the Jets. I'm like, the Jets? Whoa, okay. That caught me off guard. Did not expect
if Aaron Glenn is looking for toughness, that is the antithesis. He could put him up on the screen. Robbie Anderson is so goddamn soft. The one thing I remember best about him is he used to make some nice catches. Especially when we played the Patriots, there's one kryptonite for Robbie Anderson. His arms are so weak, I could strip the ball from him. Okay, at 63 years, 40, whatever hell I am, 60. He is weak. He is not a strong guy. He's not a contested catch guy. He's a fly down the sideline, throw me the ball bomb guy that could get separation. He won't go to the middle of the field. If you hit him, he's going to go into the blue tent. He's weak. So forget about Robbie Anderson. I don't even want to, please. Oh, and not only that, Justin Fields, can't throw a 45-yard bomb down the sideline anyway, so that's really not going to be. We need contested catch guys, for Justin Fields. I mean, I'm not saying anything bad. I just want to tell you that's not his strength. Throwing,
I appreciate that.
50-yard bombs down the sideline. I don't see that being our scenario. We're going to go with guys like this big receiver, guys that can, you know what I'm saying? Guys that can contest. The tight end is really going to be the obvious choice for us because if this guy could block, he could catch, he's going to have yak. He really is the perfect culmination of the kind of guy we want. Because if you look at Justin Fields, where he had success with Chicago was with Cole Kmet, and he had 800 yards with Justin Fields. And that's the tight end is critical because again, he's going to be a dinker dunker kind of quarterback, and that's what you really need is a tight end on 3rd and 5 that could go out 7 yards. 6'6" guy is going to bring the ball down more times than not. He's going to block out the defender. He's going to play against slot corners, and he's going to succeed. So that I hate tight ends, by the way, especially in the top 10. Our history has not been good in that position. And and aside from Brock Bowers, could you really name a tight end was taken top 10 in the last 10 drafts that's really been a star? I mean,
there's been a lot of failures. Eric Ebron and TJ Hawkinson and guys like that, but
I guess TJ Falcons, that guy was an underachiever.
Kyle Pitts. Yeah, he was 4th overall. Yeah.
I mean, was he really an achiever? I mean, has he had any great seasons? No, right?
No.
And Kyle Pitts was supposed to be like a no-brainer
unicorn,
superstar.
100%. Yeah.
And look where Kyle Pitts is. The only thing and that's why I was not on Bowers because he's more of that type of receiving tight end.
Yeah.
The fact that this guy could block, he weighs 260 and he's 6'6". You got to line him up next to the right tackle. And even if we have a deficiency there, he's going to make up for it. And we are going to run the ball, which is going to be our,
MO. There's no question.
MO. So, we could take a guard in the 2nd or 3rd round and move AVT to tackle. We could take another tackle. I think we did enough on the offensive line. And I think it's time really. And we really need a weapon because we didn't really get a second receiver in free agency. So
we did not.
Let's get this guy a tight end and roll the dice. That's just my opinion, but we'll see what happens.
All right.
I'm so excited. I feel horrible. This is a really tough decision. Look, Snowball is my boy. But I like Kevin. He's a great guy. He makes compelling cases, and I just my mouth waters whenever he gets on.
Oh yeah.
And he gets that. He has that like that voice of Chef Kevin.
Yeah, he's got some chutzpah. Like, there's no question.
He's got the voice. He's got the golden tongue.
Yeah.
Professional with the chef stuff. I'm sure the food's fantastic. I saw him and his son eating that burger.
Oh, yeah.
My God, I wanted to jump through the screen and grab that burger out of his hands and take it on. But great show. Keep up the good work. Have a great day.
Appreciate you, Neil. Thanks for the call. Yes. The one thing is I looked up Justin Fields' stats. This is from StatMuse. Justin Fields has completed 61.1% of his passes when passing for 20-plus yards in his career. So those big throws, that number is terrific if that's real from StatMuse that I just looked up. On deep ball accuracy balls over 20 yards, 61%. That's pretty good. I'd take 60% on the deep shots. So we'll see. I think so. Chicago was terrible. So take that for what it was. And then Pittsburgh, I think they just controlled them almost too much, obviously. The 4-2 record was good. The career high completion percentage was good. The career high quarterback rating was good. The 10 touchdowns, 1 pick, that was good. But, like, they controlled them and said, hey, stay in this sandbox and do this. And that worked. I'm curious if Tanner Engstrand can expand the sandbox, if that makes sense. So we'll see if that happens. Well, everybody, thanks for the show. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you. Make sure you guys like the video and hit subscribe and show your support for the channel. Today's a Wednesday, so we'll be back on tomorrow. Unless the Jets have some other big news coming in, then we will have a shorter form video on that. But appreciate it. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and good luck to both Snowball and Chef Kevin Gilbert on the show. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow.